With Easter only a few weeks away, I'm going to show you how to make chocolate just like a pro. Most important thing when we're making chocolate is to start with the best possible ingredients we can find. Today we're working with a 72% cocoa mass dark chocolate, no added oil, pure cocoa butter, cocoa mass vanilla. That's what we're looking for. Chocolate. I love that. So making chocolate at home is really easy. We only need some basic equipment, stainless steel bowl, spatula, and really important is our digital thermometer. Okay, so here we have our Cuvée chocolate, as we managed to have a taste of earlier. We want to take that chocolate and melt it to 45 degrees. So first thing we need is some hot water. I only want that water to be around about 45 or 50 degrees. Now here's a tip, really important. Water and chocolate do not mix. If we mix water with chocolate, our chocolate's going to seize and it's going to ruin it. So 2 stainless steel bowls is what we want to work with. One on top of the other, and we take the amount of chocolate we want to melt down and put that in our bowl. It's much easier to work with more chocolate than less chocolate. So if you want to make about 300 grams of chocolate, it's a lot easier if we're working with about 500 grams of chocolate. So now it's just a matter of warming up our water, start slowly melting our chocolate. Use a good quality silicone spatula just to keep our chocolate moving. Okay, so as you can see, our chocolate is beautifully melted. We've reached the temperature we want it to be, which is 45 degrees. We don't want to go any hotter than 45 degrees, or we could burn the chocolate. So now we start the process of tempering. So we can turn off our cooker. As you can see, using a double bowl means we can take our bowl away with no water issues at all. Now, we always want to make sure we work with a nice clean bowl. We take some of our chocolate and add it to our melted chocolate, just a few buttons at a time, and then we continually stir the chocolate until that chocolate's melted. So what that's going to do, adding that chocolate is going to do a couple of things. It's going to help cool our chocolate down, reduce the temperature, and it's going to add crystals that we want to achieve with our melted chocolate. So we keep on adding chocolate and stirring until we reach 35 degrees Celsius. There we are. We've reached our desired temperature of 30 degrees, and you can feel the chocolate is really starting to thicken up. So we are now good to go to start putting our chocolate into our molds. Now, plastic piping bags, easiest way to do it. You could actually ladle your chocolate into the molds, but that can be a little bit difficult, a little bit messy. So I love to use piping bags. So we just pop it into a glass or a stainless steel container, and that makes it a lot easier to get our chocolate to handle it on our own without making any mess whatsoever. So there we have our beautifully tempered chocolate. Now we want to work with this pretty quickly. That's at 30 degrees. Our body temperature is around 37 degrees. So we're going to start to heat that up if we hold it for too long. So let's grab our mold. We're going to use silicone molds. We're going to make some little hot chocolate stirrers with these. And we'll use some of these plastic molds. So let's go. Now, when we're snipping a hole in our piping bag, the bigger the hole, the greater the flow, the smaller the hole, the more control we've got. When we're holding our piping bag, keep some good pressure on it and make sure we've got it twisted off so it's nice and secure so the chocolate doesn't run back down our hand. And then we can start piping. Straight into our mould. So we just want to put a couple of sticks and then pipe our little bunnies. You can see the air bubbles coming to the surface. Really important that they come out. And there we are. So let's have a look to see how well our temper worked. So here we've got our hot chocolate little hearts. You can tell when a temper's worked really nicely. We've got a nice shine to our chocolate, and if it's worked properly, it'll also contract and remove easily from our moulds. Look at that, perfect. Okay, after we've piped our chocolate into our moulds, once it was touch set, after about 5 or 10 minutes, we can then pop it in the fridge for about 10 minutes. Now you don't want to leave it in the fridge for too long because we don't want condensation to form in our chocolate. So first thing we want to do before we demould is just give the mould a little twist, just like an ice cube tray. There we are. Just take a sheet of paper, fold it over the mould, hold it nice and tight, and then we're going to swing and tap. There we go. Beautiful, shiny, perfectly tempered chocolate. So now let's have a look at how we make Easter eggs. You do need a specific Easter egg mould, a large bowl, a smaller bowl, and of course our tempered chocolate. So the smaller bowl's perfect for resting our mould in. I want to pour our tempered chocolate into the mould and fill it right up on both sides, like so. Give it a bit of a swirl around. Then using the larger bowl, just helps save on a bit of mess. We're going to empty it out. And we're going to let it sit like that until it runs out. As it's running out, it's going to thicken, and we're going to be left with dribbles of chocolate coming out of the mould, which we're going to scrape off with our scraper. All right, our chocolate's been sitting in the mould for about 5 or 10 minutes. And as you can see, it's semi-set and it's dripped out of the mould. So what we're going to do now is take our scraper and just scrape the chocolate off so we've got a nice clean edge. As you can see, because it's not completely set, we can scrape it off without cracking. We need to build up a thicker layer, so we've got to do that process again. So let's have a look at our Easter egg mould to see if it's ready to demould. Now that looks absolutely perfect. You can see here that the chocolate has removed itself from the mould. It's released from the mould. There's one tiny little spot here. You may not pick that up on camera, but we can just give it a little twist to make sure it's nice and released. So let's demould it. Sheet of paper, hold it nice and tight, and a little tap. And look at that, a beautiful Easter egg. In 2 halves, of course, so now we've got to put it together. One thing that's really important, don't touch the chocolate with your bare hands. Some cotton gloves are best. As soon as we touch it with our hands, we're going to mark it. Now, to put it together, it's quite a simple process. You need a hairdryer and a baking tray. So what we're going to do is just heat the baking tray up, just so it's around about 30 to 40 degrees, so we can melt our chocolate to put our egg together. Pick up our eggs, pop them in the tray, and just give them a little wibble. And they will melt just enough to give us a little bit of melted chocolate to put the eggs together. And we pop the egg together. It requires a slightly steady hand, and then just hold it for a few seconds, and there we are. A beautiful finished Easter egg. So here's a final recap. Get the best quality chocolate you can find, melt it to 45 degrees, stop adding chocolate at 35 degrees. When you hit 30 degrees, get it in your moulds as soon as you can, let it set, demould, enjoy. Chocolate. I love that.